Hello, beautiful creatures of my world, and welcome back to Coffee with Kerri-Lynn. It is a very cold and rainy day here in the far north of Maine. Up along the Canadian border, we got into the low 20s last night. We're not even going to get up into the mid 40s today. It's about 35, 36 degrees outside right now. And the day is almost gone. It's the Wild West in the Crown of Maine. I hope you're all having a beautiful day wherever you might be. I hope you're having a day filled with fabulosity and dang good coffee, because you and me and my friend Annabelle, where did she go now? Tomorrow's Halloween. We all deserve dang good coffee to get through our days. The world's a dumpster fire, but you don't need me to tell you that. Good Lord. We're becoming the Wild West 15 minutes from the Canadian border in the Crown of Maine. In the last couple of weeks, we've had two, not one, but two attempted bank robberies. All women robbing banks. I had this discussion the other night with the king of his castle, the lad of his manor, the man himself, also known as my husband. We discussed the latest bank robbery. It is an international bank robbery. We'll tell you all about it. What my theory is on it. But I also had this discussion with an amazing friend of this channel, one of my first 100 subscribers. We have Coffee with Kerri-Lynn pre-morning show just about every single day. We made a good friendship through this channel, and I absolutely love her. And we were talking about it today, and the world's crazy. What can I say? So what has been going on in the Crown of Maine? Well, we had two bank robberies since the shutdown began. All women robbing banks. The first bank robbery, attempted bank robbery that we had, happened in Mars Hill. And this woman had been downstate, working her way through the state, trying to pass bad checks, I guess. And she hit Bangor, and then she decided to come to the Crown of Maine, and she decided to go to the bank in Mars Hill, and she decided to not wear a disguise. Caught on all the cameras, and she attempted to get some money out of the bank, pass a bad instrument. And that didn't happen. And she's been at large. The other day, we had a big international incident up here. Two women in their 30s, one from Kansas, one from Georgia. They decided to go to a bank in Woolen, and we were all laughing about this at our bank branch the other day, because the world's gone crazy. They went to a bank branch in Woolen and tried to extract some money illegally, but the bank people realized that the woman from Kansas was giving them her passport as ID, and the passport was a fake. So these women got nothing. Off you go. And the police got behind their vehicle and started following them. And they decided that they were going to take off in a high-speed chase and go right over the border into Canada, where the RCMP grabbed them and sent them back to the United States. And now they are international bank robbers. My theory. We're from the city. Well, my husband's from Maine, but we're from the city. And he moved to the city when he was 14. We left the city because we saw it getting really hokey, and we came to the farthest point of the country. And it's taken decades for this crap to catch up here. Whether it's fashion, whether it's music, whether it's makeup, whether it's political views, whether it's crime, it has taken a long time for it to come up from the city into this very rural farming community that we have up here. We have more land up here than human beings per capita. Very calm, very docile, very tough living. Absolutely tough living. Jobs are scarce, always has been. People live in scarcity up here. People that were born in the county, it's okay to go without some things. It's not really a big deal. It only starts becoming a big deal when people start getting flighty ideas about what you need and what you don't need to live your life. It's quick trickling in. It really is. It's trickling in from the cities. My theory to this whole debacle of these three women robbing banks in the county. They weren't robbing people in Walmart. They weren't trying to get people in a back alley to alleviate the average Joe and Jane of their cash. Winter's setting in. There is a job crisis in Maine, in the county. It's really prevalent. There is a housing crisis. We have one homeless shelter for the entire county, and that is in Presque Isle. And there are so many families desperate to get into that shelter. And now the government is having another crisis where they can't provide for people. I have my opinions on that. When you don't have food or shelter in Maine in the winter, it is one of the worst predicaments that you could ever be in. And I think, in my opinion, these women looked at things in one of two ways. If they succeed, then they get some money and they can get to the next point, wherever that point may be. For a very short period of time, they don't have to think about where they're going to sleep, where they're going to eat, because they have some money, some finances to get them to the next stop. At worst case scenario, they get caught, and they end up in the Hilton, and they get 3 hots and a cot. And then they have their food, their clothing, and their shelter all taken care of, provided by the taxpayer. It's county lockup. It's not like they're in the big pen. People are getting desperate. And all this happened after the government shut down. Now, we've had on occasion some of the well-known druggies try to rob banks up here, but they're all local people to the area. Everybody knows when they come stumbling in, there's a possibility there. They've been trespassed from several banks for trying to get some money out of the bank. It doesn't happen often, but yes, it does happen. But now, in the course of 2 weeks, we've had 3 women try to rob 2 banks. That tells you our country is in crisis. Our fellow citizens are in crisis. That's what it tells me anyways. When I started this channel, it was started as a solution-based channel. We are homesteaders. We do things the old way. I don't teach people how to homestead per se. I show you what we do. Maybe you're having a similar issue. I show you what our solution is. That solution might not work for you because, every homestead has different needs depending upon the people that live at that homestead. But what I show you, what I tell you, may be the beginning of your solution. With a few modifications, it could work for you too. That was the basis of this channel. And then, of course, as time rolled on, we moved into everything. And we became a variety channel. News, current events, life, love, relationships, family. Happiness, your happiness, the pursuit of my happiness. And we started doing a lot of different things. Now we got knitting on here, and I was going to pull the knitting off, but now I'm not. Just solution-based. That's the type of programming that we're going to move into. Not red, not blue. Not black, not white. A place where people can come to just stop the outside noise for a minute. When I was a kid, my grandmothers always told me the stories of their growing up, of my grandfather's growing up. Everybody always wondered why'd they tell her? All of my grandparents grew up in the Depression, went right into World War II. On my father's side, my grandparents were pretty privileged. On my mother's side, they were dirt poor. I got a healthy balance growing up. But everybody wondered why I paid attention to what my grandmothers were saying. Even I wondered, what is the purpose of them telling me these stories over and over and over again? And in time, I realized I was remembering the stories. And then when my grandparents passed away many, many years ago, at family gatherings, I started telling their stories of how they lived, what they experienced. And in every phase of life in my family, for my family members, all of us, my extended family members, my immediate family members, there was a message in those stories. There is a sadness that is going on to certain members of my family, extended and beyond. And they're losing their children to this society, the ills of this society. And for whatever reason, I got on a Facebook Live and I started telling the story of the resiliency of my great-grandmother. And how her mother lost children. She lost a brother when he was 14. Since he was 10, he knew he was going to die. He was not going to make it to adulthood. Then my great-grandmother, she lost a child to the streets. And how everybody picked themselves up and moved on. Before Joel Skousen declared that you can't give people hope loosely, because hope breeds complacency. Complacency means they do less. By doing less, they don't provide for themselves. They become non-resilient and they die. My great-grandmother had a similar philosophy. It was rooted in faith. The good Lord only puts on your shoulders what he knows that you can carry. And that builds your resiliency. Prepare for the worst. Hope for the best. Understand only you can get yourself out of your own situation. That was her philosophy. Less dramatic than Joel Skousen. And when we embarked on this lifestyle of homesteading, my husband's parents, they were farmers. Always had a garden. Even after they stopped farming. We did a thing that was weird at the time to do. And now we're grateful that we did it. We're going to do a little bit more programming about neighbor helping neighbor. We're going to keep the knitting here. Not the really fun stuff, but the homesteading arts part of it. The necessities, socks, mittens, hats, gloves, things that'll keep you warm. Things that you need to use every day on a homestead. And if you want the real fun stuff, you can go over to Chestnut Woolen Mill. I'll link the channel below so that you can go over there. And we'll do all kinds of fiber arts over there that are just fun and exciting and get our mind out of what is going on in real life. Because, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of my world, guys and ghouls, we're on the verge, I do believe, of civil war. And what's going to happen in this country, it's going to be a horror like nobody has ever experienced. You're going to need to be your own first responder. You're going to need to do a lot of things for yourself. And when it gets real rough out there, I'm going to put up content that has nothing to do with out there, because we've got to alleviate the fear. We'll talk about the depression. We'll talk about my grandparents' lives. We'll talk about faith. We'll talk about life, love, the pursuit of your happiness, the pursuit of my happiness. Above all, we'll build community and we'll try to help each other get through whatever the hell is going to happen in the world beyond our front door. Times, they are a-changing. We're going to have to be neighbor helping neighbor. Do the kindness that you want to see in the world. And as always, Carpe Diem, because no one promises us a tomorrow.